Hi, I am Sarah and I am your true crime best friend. Today's story is a little bit different, so let's just dive in. It's 12:45 on August 14th, 1974, and the phone rings at the Eyman residence. The mother picks up the phone to hear her 14-year-old son on the other end. He told her he was now leaving his girlfriend's house in Kansas City, and he will be home soon. He then told his girlfriend that he would see her tomorrow and started his walk home. A few hours later, at about 3 a.m., a police officer from Raymore, Missouri, found a fire in a ditch where the Jackson and Cass counties meet. He got out and walked closer, and what he found was horrific. The body of the 14-year-old boy, David Eyman, was on fire, and he was burnt beyond recognition. It is later found out that he was hogtied with a rope around his wrist and knees. David was burnt so badly that he was only able to be identified by a partial fingerprint and the ring he wore on his finger. For the most part, this is kind of where the story ends. It got a lot of attention and news back in the 1970s, but after that, the story fell off, only becoming a mystery that may never get solved. That is until 2021. A woman by the name of Dylan Kinsley found Eyman's picture on the KCPD homicide website. She was drawn to it and had to look more into this case. She pored over the case, got interviews, and did the heavy lifting for this case. So this is where the story and I meet. Dylan made a podcast, Burn: The Unsolved Murder of David Eyman. I found this podcast while looking for a local case back 2 years ago. I fell in love with the reporting that she did. So, this is not my story to tell. Dylan did all the work, so I'm handing it off. This is my plea to all of my listeners. I want you to hear this story. It doesn't matter if you are local or not. You will become obsessed just like I did. I'm going to link Dylan's website and podcast below. But if the little bit of the story I told you before didn't grab your attention, let me give you this. Dylan may have found who did this and why it's been covered up this whole time. It could have been a local police officer. And that theory gains traction when she explains that a piece of the rope that David was tied up with matched the rope that was found in this man's car. Also, no evidence can be tested right now because all of it was lost by the department. This podcast goes deep. And trust me, this is just the beginning. Tune in to Dylan's podcast to hear the whole story. I could never do it justice like she did. David deserves us to fight for him, and so does his family.